All right, Taapsee, welcome, welcome. Now, the fact that you are sprinting your way to success. So many films has your name written on it. 2021 had your name written on it. 2022, more than half a dozen films has you headlining all of it. How does it feel?
I think I'm getting exhausted looking at that list now again and again. It was not really how I planned it, but I think I get very greedy with good scripts. I always say that, I've worked really hard to be in a position today where I can pick and choose. So I really don't want a good script to slip out of my hands. So I end up overbooking myself sometimes. But yeah, I mean, last 2 years have been very exhausting physically and mentally.
Now, it's right now, the situation in the industry is such that very few male actors are, as confident as, let's say, your co-star Tahir Bhasin or even a Vikrant Massey,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
let their co-star be the center stage or have an orthobacked role,
Hmm.
especially a female actor. Do you
Hmm.
see that gender bias going away from the industry anytime soon, or is there still a long way to go? Because we hear that they're not getting many leading actors for you to be cast opposite you.
No, that's true that there is a certain, bias or certain gap in the thought process of certain sort. Uh, but there are a few men like Tahir, like Vikrant, who are not just secure actors, but also secure men.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't only take you to be a good secure actor, it also takes you to be a good secure man, to know that maybe your female counterpart is going to have relatively longer screen presence, but that shouldn't scare you. That should just be like, that shouldn't be, because if the gender is scaring you, then there is something that you need to be really looking in and figuring out, what is your thought process like actually. So that really that is a problem. I've never been tried to mince words here, because there've been times for my films where this has been the only reason for certain male actors with not even enough uh, films or experience. The only reason why they don't want to do a certain part is because the female part is relatively stronger or relatively more on screen. So I really feel sad to see that state, because for the longest time, when females were on that side, where we always
Yeah.
had the lesser part, we
Yeah.
never really thought of it as, that we will not get enough time and space to show our presence. In fact, we used to take it as a challenge, with that, okay, with lesser screen time, how are we going to make our presence felt? It's more like
Mhm.
a challenge that you throw. I made a career out of it. I had a 7 minutes role in Baby, which was,
Absolutely.
headlined by so many strong men.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
had the I had the smallest part actually in that film, and by the love of audience, I was the only one who got a spin-off because of
Yes.
that film. So I really don't understand that mentality. The men. I mean, after doing films like Pink and Naam
Mm.
Shabana, I did a Surma where I was not the central protagonist of
Mm.
the film, and Diljit had not done as many films in Hindi as I had done at that point. But I was fine taking a back seat and letting him be the protagonist, because that's the story. And I like the story, and I like my part, regardless of it not being the center of attention in the film. So I fail to understand that mentality, but it's pretty much prevalent there. But thankfully, we still have some men who are secure enough men.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And good you mentioned Shurma, because there'll be a lot of, even in us crites for that matter, a lot of those journalists will go ahead and ask you कि आपका role तो इतना छोटा है, आपने agree
Hmm.
कर दिया, because just you, on account of you being a female actor. Do you get that
Hmm.
often? Because I mean, since you're mentioning Surma, we'll talk about it. Considering your role was not as, the length of the role was not as much as Diljit's role. So, a female actor will always get asked that question probably, but they will not go ahead and ask, let's say, a Salman Khan for making a special appearance in a film, for example.
No, actually, I did get that question during Surma, because they had seen me doing the central protagonist roles before, so they probably were intrigued to know that why are you doing such small role or not the central protagonist role in this one. But to be fair to you, to be fair to those journalists, actually, when I've done films where I'm the central protagonist, and I've had boys who probably are not as much there on screen as I am, my character is on screen, even they get asked this question that, how do you feel, how, in a very complimenting way though, that uh, it's nice to see that you are okay letting the female take the center stage. That's how, be it Tahir, be it Priyanshu, in my previous films, I've had some really strong actors, Vikrant, all of them play some really pivotal parts, but they've been asked this question that, complimenting way, but it's still like, it's still being pointed out that, you were okay being a man and taking a back seat, because that's also, and that, because that's a rarity in our world, in our society
Yeah.
right now.
Still, yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, talking about Loop Lapeta, the fact that obviously it's based on the German hit, and that obviously was German entry to the Oscar, Run Lola Run. A little birdie told me that your initial response was to say no to this film, not really go there, and that's something which is as big as Run Lola Run. So how did Loop Lapeta happen?
The reason for saying no to it was less of the fear of Run Lola Run, more of the fact that I had just come out of a film called Game Over, which I did in South, which also had this concept of 3 times over, and that had just released when I got a call to do this. And I didn't see Run Lola Run before that, so I just knew about that. That also has this concept. So that's why I told Atul when he called me for the film, because the director was not on board at that time. It was just the writers and the producers who had developed it, and they told me that would you be open to listening to it? And I told them that, see, I've just done this, and I don't really want to repeat myself. So I think I'll avoid it. They were like, okay, no, you just come hear it and then you see. And I was like, okay, it's a cult classic. I know it was long back. Maybe there'll be a lot many more, like lot other people like me who didn't see the original. So let me just at least go give it a fair year. But in my head, I was like, I might just end up saying no because I have many more reasons to say no. But the script just blew me away. I mean, I heard it and I instantly said a yes without even thinking or taking time to come back to them, because I was like, if it has changed my mindset, when I came with mindset to say no, and it changed it so much, I'm sure it'll have an equally good impact on the audience.
Mm-hmm. Initial responses for people who have seen the film, like us journalists, I happen to watch the film. Now, one thing that obviously stands out, other than the performances by the actors, very ably so, is also the camera work and the fact that it has got too many point of views, and it's a very psychedelically shot film, So, all of that taking into account, what do you think the response is going to be? And if you've heard something from the people who watched the film, the special screening.
So last 2 days has been quite interesting, because we've been talking to people outside the cast and crew who have seen the film, and it's been very good. Now I'm always very negative in terms of thinking, okay, they're just being nice to us on our face. Let's see when the film opens up for the audience on 4th of February, because they'll be the one ultimately telling you the reality. But so far, at least to us, whoever has seen the film is kind of saying some really nice and kind things. So it has been. I have all the reasons to be happy right now, but I'm going to hold on to the horses before 4th of February.
Mm-hmm. Since you mentioned at the start of the interview that you do not come with a certain kind of filter, you say what really is that needs to be said, and it has been classic Taapsee Pannu ever since you started out in the industry. Do you get often told कि भाई थोड़ा सा इसको अब subdue कर देना, probably cover it up a bit? Do you get told by people who obviously are looking after you? Do you get that?
Not from my core team, because they've worked with me for so many years. They exactly know what not to tell me. So not my PR, not my management team, but yes, the people who I work with for different films. Sometimes they end up like, we're going to avoid this and we're going to avoid that, and I'm like, you can if you want to, but if I am asked something on these lines, I don't mind answering, because I really think that I target the sin and not the sinner. I've never really called out people. I'm never the one taking digs at people for being the first one to take the dig at someone, or wantingly targeting people. I don't do that. So why do I need to, avoid something that is right and true? So yeah, so I do have that discussion sometimes with people I work newly with.
Mhm. When you came into the industry, you were already from the Tamil and Telugu film industry coming. I think you were a dozen films old at that time when you came for Chashme Badru, And from then on, was there a different kind of an equation while looking at an actor relatively new in the Hindi film industry? From then to now, has that perception changed as far as looking at actors who are coming from, let's say, down south, as because you also always call yourself an accidental actor. You maintain that. So has
Yeah,
that perception changed?
it's like huge change between 8 years back when I started it. Yeah, 8 9 years back when I started. 2013, when I entered the Hindi film industry, I was treated like a ranked newcomer, struggler, coming out of nowhere. Uh, and being from the South industry, actually, I was asked to, just avoid saying that I've come out of South industry because there'll be certain kind of slotting that will be done. Okay, this is, she's a South actress. Uh, and I never understood, like, why do I need to, uh, not hide that fact or just not mention that fact? Because apparently it will be like, you have like done your fair share of work. Now, you are like already this much old in the industry. You're not really fresh and new. So I needed to reap the benefits of my hard work in South that I did for a few years because I was asked to avoid that. And people here treated me, even the ones who knew that I had done fair amount of work, did not really acknowledge it, because at that time your work in South was not really acknowledged as work enough here. You had to start from scratch again. But now, because of the advent of OTT, everyone has seen so many South films in last couple of years of different languages from South, that a South star is a pan India star today. And they already come with that stardom when they act in a Hindi film. It was not at all like that 8 years back when I started. I had to literally start from scratch and be around people or be categorized with people who have zero experience, and having worked in some really credible films with some. My first Tamil film won six national awards. My first
Absolutely.
Telugu
I was going
film
to go to
was
that.
with,
Yes.
yeah, my
Yes.
first Telugu film was Raghavendra Rao's directorial, who launched Sridevi and Jayasudha, and known for launching actresses. But all of this did not really stand of any value when I started off in Hindi, and I was just like a ranked newcomer.
Mm-hmm. One of your favorite directors, Shajit Sarkar, says that you're untouched by the Bollywood starry waves. You know, what is this
Yeah, I
starry
hope he
wave that
still
you're
thinks
talking
like that. Uh, yeah, so I don't know, maybe because he meant that like I still speak my heart and mind. Maybe because of that, I still haven't changed my ways and means of doing things. um I still don't do things for others. I still do it for myself. I still My intention of doing or not doing things are not driven by my star value. They are driven by my own decisions of doing or not doing something. I think maybe all of this, but more than that, though, I think he can only clarify.
You still fuss about refilling your own coffee?
I fuss about a lot of things. I mean, I fuss about my clothes being washed by myself and folded and stacked by myself, because I know what clothes need to be washed in what way. I am very particular about the coffee beans that I drink coffee from. I make my own coffee. I do my own cleaning in my room, because I am very OCD with things in the house, because I've made it with so much of love. This apartment done, me and my sister have done our interiors ourselves, so we are very particular about things being at the right place. So I do all of that myself.
And good you mentioned your sister. I mean, I was waiting while Loop Lapetas come. I was waiting for one kind of a sequence on social media, which is to do with your super cool sisters and yourself. We saw Cool Chori. We also saw the bikini shoot. That was something that everybody talked about. Where is that happening for Loop Lapeta, Tapsi?
I have no idea. Yeah, these are the ideas that they come up with. my
Really? I thought
sister
it's
or
the
my
other way
cousin.
around.
No, I'm not that. I'm not actually. No matter how much you see me on social media and all, I am still behind my sisters, my cousin and my sister Shagun. Both of them, they are way ahead of me where social media is concerned. What's happening and what's trending and all that, I get to know from them. So be it bikini shoot or be it that Ghani Phul Chori ka sequence, it's them who came up with the idea of doing it. I was probably
Who
just using
choreographed
my
it?
that I did because that much expertise, like because of my job, I've learned all the shot taking and all the angles and all of that. That I figured
Wow.
out, but the idea of doing these things is what comes from them.
Hmm. Okay, I'm told that we need to wrap this. So before I wrap, I want you to I want to ensure that you have enough of your coffee, taki up, you don't feel like all drowsy during the interviews that you are
Yeah.
planned ahead. So I have this little quick segment that
Mm.
needs you to take sips from your cup of coffee. I'll give you these
Okay.
little instances. आपकी जिंदगी में अगर ऐसा कुछ भी हुआ है, you take a sip, tell me the छोटी सी कहानी behind it, and then we'll be good to go. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right. Take a sip if you have a superstition, not really loaded with any kind of meaning to this word, but any set superstition that you have while you go on set, koi first shot pe, ya any superstition that you have while on a film set. No, no superstition. Okay, all right, okay. Second one, third one. I'm sorry. Take a sip if you've ever gotten into a brawl, like a proper brawl.
If I've
Marpit.
ever gotten into a brawl,
Yeah,
ever, okay,
yeah. Why are you stressing on ever?
because school and college and time is the one that
Ah,
that you get into a brawl and I've gotten into proper like physical fighting and like all that. Yeah, I've done all that in school, college. Not college really, but school, yeah.
okay, okay, all right, nice. Okay, all right. Take a sip if you were a teacher's pet in school. Were you a good student, that's why, or you just liked?
No, I've been an obedient good student in school. Maybe not so much in college, but I've been
Mhm.
quite a teacher's student in school.
Okay, all right, the next one. Take a sip if you've ever had a stalker in real life. Ever had a stalker?
I
Seriously?
had someone actually, Purani memories, so I will not really have that much as yet, but I have someone who like came to my doorstep twice, uh,
Oh,
in spite of all the security and all in my society here. So it was quite scary.
oh my God. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right. The next one. Take a sip if you've ever written or received a love letter in your life. Either written one or received. Quite a
I've
few.
had a I've had a bloody letter in my college.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know what blood did he actually use, but it was a bloody letter that was there.
Okay. All right. And never written one. Never written one.
No, never. I'm not good with these romantic things. I'm not really that romantic mushy person.
Okay. So ये next वाले का answer तो no होने वाला है, but I'll still go ahead and ask it. Take a sip if you ever made a fool of yourself in trying to impress a boy, school, college में कभी भी.
And no,
Never.
not a. I would have made a fool of myself for all the other reasons, but not really trying to impress a boy.
Okay. Ever had a nasty experience while auditioning for a part? Take a sip if you've ever had a nasty or a really funny audition experience.
um, I'm thinking, okay, funny. Not really funny, but it was kind of. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
So I auditioned for an ad of some chocolate brand, and I had to eat the chocolate and make those like faces. I'm enjoying the chocolate a lot, which I found quite weird because as it is, I'm not good in giving auditions, and then I had to do this, make these sounds and these expressions of I'm enjoying the chocolate so much, and then end up failing that audition. And guess who was uh, choosing for the auditions? It was Vinil Matthew, my director for Haseen Tulruba, who
Haseen
rejected me
Dilruba.
for that. Like karma strikes back, and he had to work with me.
Cast you in Haseen Dilruba. Okay. All right. Okay. And okay, alright, ये मेरे दिमाग में अब भी आया है बस. Take a sip if you have ever had people mispronouncing your name like really badly.
You really wanted me to have a sip, I think,
More
for this.
sip.
There's no way. There was a point in school, college time where I used to just get alarmed when someone correctly pronounced my name because it was just like unheard of.
Okay, like what? Examples.
Like it used to be always Taapsee, Taapsee, Taapsee. So I have some really crazy pronunciations during my school, college time.
What's the meaning of Taapsee?
It means tapaswini.
Nice, nice. Okay, last one. Take a sip if you know of a super cool folk song and you're a closeted singer and you'd love to sing it. That's your go-to folk song.
I'm not taking a sip. I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not even a bathroom singer. I hate to hear my voice in like songs and all. Like everyone around me also has been very consistent about like, please don't sing. Do anything else. Please don't sing. That's definitely, I'm very self-aware of me not having that talent at all. Not even in bathroom.
कोई तो गाना जरूर होगा तापसी, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. Can't happen.
नहीं है, सही में नहीं है. So I'm not even that obsessive music hearing person, you know. In my house, it's my sister actually who's a very music loving person. I'm not a person who's like constantly listening to some music and no, I'm not that. I'm the one who I even gym in silence.
Okay. All right. Taapsee, thank you so much for doing this. It was lovely talking to you. And here's to many more like Loop Lapeta. We hope that this film
cheers.
well. Cheers.